Good morning, everyone. I'm Mark Phillips, and I'm here at Harvested Financial, and we are talking about the markets. So, what do we look like today? Well, SPY trading around 382.50. It's up a buck 27 or 34 basis points. IWM around 213.70, up 99 cents or around 44 basis points. The Qs are around 329.86. They're up the most at 179 or 54 basis points. And finally, all these markets up means the VIX is down 93 cents. Remember, we don't talk about the VIX in terms of percentages because that's not how that index behaves. More on that later at some point. So, what are we looking at today? Well, I've got an interesting trade for you because today is earnings in PayPal. So, we are going to look at butterfly strategies in PayPal. 2 quarters in a row, we've seen some strong results. Will quarter 4 results coming out today bring the same? So that's the question for us here. And actually, what I flashed to you briefly was one of the ideas that we are looking at here and thinking about as we go into earnings after the close today. So earnings per share, these are data points per the NASDAQ. Looking out over the past couple quarters, Q2 and Q3 of last year, earnings reports both beat estimates by a big amount. So we see raised estimates again in Q4 here, but will they continue to perform? Well, that's always the question, and that's what we're going to look at with some option strategies today. So because it is Wednesday, we are talking about butterfly strategies. Butterflies, remember, great defined risk way of taking a position on volatility. And the best time to take a position on volatility is going into earnings because we see relatively elevated volatility going into earnings announcements. Anytime there's a known announcement, whether it's an earnings report, whether it's an FDA release in a biotech company, that is going to concentrate the volatility premium in that expiration. So looking at the Feb 5th expiration today, I will pull up my screen and I will shrink myself a little bit. And we will take a look at what's going on in PayPal. So I mentioned we are looking at the Feb 5th expiration. That is only 2 days away. So we have trading day today, we have trading day Thursday, and we have trading day Friday that we're going to be looking at this name. So, or looking for activity here. While it's a few short days, most of this volatility is going to be concentrated around the announcement this afternoon, like I mentioned. So one great proxy to think about in terms of how much we expect to see PayPal move is going to be the straddle. You've probably heard me say that before, but it's a great one-handed, or I shouldn't say one-handed, but it's a great quick identification of the potential movement pricing in the stock right now. So PayPal's trading around $250 a share. Looking at the 250 straddle, I see that trading almost $17. So people are expecting a lot of movement. Implied vol in the Feb 5 expiration is trading around 110. Vol in the Feb 19 is only around 50. So the historical vol of this is going to, or I should say, the term structure of this is pricing vol around 50 with a very expensive earnings straddle coming up into that announcement. So when we think about the earnings and where this stock could go, it's already had a pretty big run over the last couple months. So I can actually pull that up for everyone. Looking at where this stock has gone over the past several months is just astounding. So we're sitting all the way up here at 250. Let me move my screen out of the way. We're sitting all the way up here at 250, and it's come a long way. This has just been a straight vertical rise. We were trading under $100 a share at the lows in March. So, and even in the last couple months, we started in November around 170, and we're all the way up, almost 50% from that. So big moves are possible in this name. And while you'll often hear me talk about potentially selling earnings vol, I think there might be some movement here that makes for an interesting play on the other side. So we talk about defined risk spreads always here. So of course, a butterfly trade. Let's buy 2 of the 250s. So we're going to buy this relatively expensive elevated premium put here, paying around $8, $8.20. These markets look a little wide. They're almost 60 cents wide. So if we pay around $8 for this, and then thinking about that straddle as being almost $17, I want to go pretty far out. So I'm thinking about some movement here. So I'm going to sell one of the 235s against it, and again, an equal wing butterfly, 250 minus 235 is 15. I'm going to go up 15 on the other side. So I now have a $30 range over which I'm betting that PayPal is going to move. And This trade is going to be entered in for a credit. So the midpoint on this trade is about 350. Again, these markets are relatively wide. When you're dealing with expensive options with wide markets, execution quality is super important. We harp on that with every single trade and put the spin on the ball as all of our orders go down to the market to try and get the best price improvement, because for every penny we save here, that is $1 in our clients' pockets. So execution quality is going to be super important here. I'm looking at the offer. The quote on this spread is almost $4 wide. So there's a lot of wiggle room in there. Assuming we get off around this 380, we're going to collect $3.80. So one of those counterintuitive things about a butterfly, when we are getting long volatility, we're actually going to collect money at the beginning of the trade. And as you'll see in this what if in just a second, we're going to lose the money if stock sits right where it is right now. So at 250, if all of that volatility craters out of it, all of the extrinsic value just bleeds out of those options, we're just going to sit right here and it will be a loss of $1,000. So quick back of the envelope math, if we collect around $350 on that credit and have a $15 leg length, each of those, remember, is $15. So $15 minus 350 gets us a max loss of around 1150. So that 1150 is going to happen if we sit right here at 250. So if those options decay and we don't see any movement, this trade will be a loser. However, as you can see on these wings out here, that is where we'll make the money. So we're getting long volatility for a credit with this butterfly, and we are going to see our max gain of that credit that we receive, of those $350 or $3.50 a share. We will see that if stock moves beyond our target. So we will see our max gain when the stock moves beyond those wings. So those wings that we picked were the 265 and the 235. Stock goes either way of there, either side, up or down, we're going to see the value of the put spread in that direction achieve its max value or achieve none of its value. So we either want the put spread that we are long, the 250, 235, to finish completely in the money, or the put spread that we're short, the 265, 250, to finish completely out of the money. So that is where we're going to see our max value. Given what PayPal's done recently, betting on volatility is a very interesting trade to make right now. With the typical butterfly, the typical short butterfly, you're actually going to receive a credit. So remember, like I said, that's a little bit counterintuitive here, but you're going to receive the credit, which will materialize when we see that movement. So butterfly trades, again, great defined risk way of staying involved with the market, making a play on earnings, especially when volatility is relatively elevated and there might be some opportunity capture. So at Harvested Financial, we deal with strategies like this every day. We are focused on delivering systematic option strategies to individual investors in separately managed accounts. We look at butterflies, we look at covered calls, we look at collars, all the different ways that investors can stay exposed to the benefits of options. So check us out every morning here on the Daily Bread. We stream at 8:35 Central, 9:35 Eastern. You can also check out our Twitter at harvested_DAFE, because derivatives are for everyone. And of course, make sure you hit the subscribe button here because we are tuning in great content all the time. So thanks very much